Hello everyone, my name is Shapefile from QGIS. I'll be continuing from where I stopped. Previously, I discussed on how to use ArcCatalog. On today's lecture, I'll be explaining some facts which your mind may not be called into attention. You might be using it, but you don't know the difference between Our today's topic will be on Shapefile. Then I'm going to talk about shapefile and the difference between shapefile and features. There are different between shapefile and a feature. But on this tutorial, I'll be illustrating and differentiating between the two types so that you can know the difference anytime you are working with ArcGIS or ArcCatalog, or you are working with any GIS software. Let's get started. I've already launched my browser, which is I'm using Chrome. Then I've already tried to save time to browse into what is the meaning of a shapefile. Then you can see here on the URL, you can see the desktop.arcgis.com. That's the source where what I'm going to read now. Then what is a shapefile? From this write-up, you can see that a shapefile is a simple, non-topological format for storing the geometric location and attribute information of geographic features. If you remember my previous introduction to ArcGIS, when I was talking about the types of storage and then mention of shapefile, to go and watch it. But on today's lecture, now, what matters most is about the shapefile and the difference between the shapefile and the feature. Then it says the geographical features in a shapefile can be represented by point lines or polygons in areas. The workspace containing shapefiles may also contain database, which is database tables, which can store additional attributes that can be joined to a shapefile pictures. What this thing is trying to talk about is a shapefile is a storage. It's a storage, is a GIS formal storage, which is used to store a geometric location and attribute information of geographic features. When they say something is shapefile, just know that a shapefile, it is just like when you say you try to save something, like you try to save something into into a specific format that is related to geographical features. That's why it is written that it is a simple non-topological format for storing the geometric location and attribute information of geographic features. Then they now say that geographic features in a shapefile can be represented by point, lines, or polygon. Then my two previous introduction to ArcGIS, I've already talked a lot about the difference between the lines, what line is used for, and the points, where you can use the point and the polygon. Then which means that any features now, any features like points, lines, polygon can now be saved as a shapefile. Then if you check below, now below is an example of how shapefile appear in ArcCatalog. You can also see the database file that may be associated with a shapefile. I've already my previous tutorial on how to use ArcCatalog. I explicitly explain how to save, how to use ArcCatalog, then how to create all this. If you haven't watched, I will tell you again, please can't go and watch it. Then as you can see it now, it now says that you can see the data, and you can find it from the extension of the database. You can find the USA shapefile and the tables. Now the tables here now, you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, the cities, the countries, the roads, and the states represent the shapefiles. Then one thing about shapefile is that All files that have the file extension like .txt, the ASC by default. However, on the option dialog box, you can choose which of these file tabs you will be represented as text file and which should not be shown in the catalog tree. When text file contain a command and a tab delimited values, you can see their contents in ArcCatalog table view and join them to a geographic pictures. Text files can be deleted, but their content are read only in ArcCatalog. You can join attribute store in a database table or a text file to the features in a feature file in a layer properties dialog box on the join and relate tab. These two things, these join and relate tabs, are one of the features of one of the tools in ArcCatalog or in ArcGIS, whereby you can use, join, or relate two features together when a feature has the same attribute. You now compare the two together by joining two features A and B. When a feature A has the same similar features like feature B, you now join together or you can relate them together. I will still be talking about the joint and relate maybe in future, because for now our basic point is on Shapefile. Then if you go down and try to scroll down on it, you can see a lot of things about it, but I won't be reading so that it won't be like I'm just reading what I saw on the night. But that one thing very so peculiar about the Shapefile, and the why Shapefile is different from a feature. If you can see, a Shapefile is different from the feature. Some people don't know that a Shapefile is different from feature. One of the difference between the Shapefile now is that, see now, a Shapefile size limitations. So each of the component files of a Shapefile is limited to 2 GB each. Therefore, the database file cannot exceed 2 GB, and the shapefile cannot exceed 2 GB. What they are saying is that any file saved in shapefile cannot exceed 2 GB, which means that there is no how big, how mighty the thing is going to be. A shapefile cannot be up to 2 GB. However, the combination of 2 or more shapefile can be more than 2 GB, which means that the combination of 2 or more shapefile, which means when you have a shapefile A, B, C, D, E, then the size of the A, B, C, D, E shapefiles can be more than 2 GB, but and each of it cannot be more than 2 GB. That's why you say that, and each of a shapefile cannot be more than 2 GB. It's limited to 2 GB. Then these are the only files that are likely to be huge. The total size of all component files can exceed, just like what I said right there, whereby you have 2 more or 3 shapefile can be more than a 2 GB. Then now, from there now, you can just try and read more about shapefile, but I'm going to make an illustration why shapefile is different from a features. Then let's get started now. However, I have already launched my ArcMap, so you can see the interface. Then I've also launched my ArcCatalog. If you remember, on our last tutorial, I used well, could I even remember if the folder name. No, okay, yes, I use a folder name for sake of the lesson. Then let me go back to the for sake of the lesson. If you have not watched, because I won't be going back to you because I've already explained how I got all this thing now. That's where I'm starting from here now. One thing about Shapefile is that if you are working within ArcCatalog or ArcMap, let me show you something what ArcGIS says about says about ArcMap. You see listing here. It says the legacy. In addition to the shapefile and table, ArcGIS users work with project files, legend files, and Avenue scripts. Why you can't work directly with these items in ArcGIS for desktop? What is desktop? Which is ArcMap. That's what they call desktop. You can manage them using ArcCatalog. That's why I'm telling you that if you haven't watched my previous tutorial on how to use ArcCatalog, you're amazing. The best way I say in my definition about ArcCatalog is that an ArcCatalog is one of the components of ArcGIS used to be managing your data information. When I say geodata information, you should understand what I'm trying to say. They say to see this item in ArcCatalog, you must add their file extension to the file type list. I've already illustrated this in my previous video. For example, to see an ArcGIS project, add the file extension .apr to the list. Yeah, let me go back to the ArcCatalog now. And what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to show you something. Why ArcCatalog and why a shapefile is different from a picture. One thing that makes the difference between shapefiles and a picture is that one, a shapefile, listen attentively, a shapefile cannot be saved into a geodatabase folder. Listen attentively what I say again. If you remember, check this for sake of this lesson. You see, geodatabase. You can't save a shapefile into a geodatabase. However, a shapefile is directly saved into a folder. It says vice versa. You can't save a picture into a folder. A picture can only be saved into a geodatabase, while a shapefile can only be saved into a folder. I don't think you get the difference in what I'm trying to say. I'm going to illustrate it to you now. You see now. For the sake of lesson now, okay. Let me just right click. If I right click outside within this, what you are seeing there are the contents, then I can click on my new. If I click on my new, I can see different options. I can see the file geodatabase, the personal geodatabase, and other ones. Then the shapefile. Now, if I go to my desktop, for the sake, let me look for it. Yes, you see, for the sake of the folder, and for the sake of the lesson, is the name of a folder. Let me now go back to my ArcCatalog, the tools that I use to manage my geodata information. Then now what I'm going to do now, you see now, don't forget, for the sake of the lesson, as you can see now, if I right click, it's just like if I right click at these contents now, it's just like I'm saving directly into the folder for the sake of lesson, which is this. Then if I now go back to my ArcCatalog now, I press new, you see new, then I press I create a new shapefile. Then can I name it? Let me name it then let me just choose any type of feature. Like, don't forget, from what we read from here, it says a geographical features in a shapefile can be represented by the points, lines, or polygons. Then let me go back to my ArcCatalog and see, I can just choose. Let me just leave it this one. I will just let me choose another one because I've already explained this before. This one, then Okay. You see now, I've created a shapefile. Then now, for me now to create the exactly shapefile now into a geodatabase now, let us make an illustration and see. Then I'll right click on my, for the sake of lesson, the new. You see, you could differentiate that when I was clicking outside inside the contents of this for the sake of the lesson, it's brought in an option called different types of options like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 options. Which means part of the option of the shapefile, which means I can save directly. If I click on shapefile, I can save directly. But let me now go into for the sake of the lesson, which is the saved in geodatabase. I'm gonna right click now. Then let me go to the new. You see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Comparing the two together, 17 option comparing unit to 8 pictures. Then out of this option now, shapefile. There's no way you can save a shapefile into a database. Also, you can't save it. Only thing that can be saved into a database is the pictures. That's why we could save feature data set, features class, and others. But now let me now click outside this and I press my new. You see now, I can always create a folder or a file geodatabase inside the folder name for the sake of the lesson, which means I can create any feature. But don't mix this together. So I'm saying, oh, wherever I need the features of this, a shapefile. But that's the reason why that anytime you go online to download anything, any geometric data, they always save it in shapefile so that it is easily to understand by other GIS software. And also, it doesn't, like now, for example, now, if you save anything in the database, now, you need to copy everything, because sometimes you might, database sometimes, like, it might links to different folder, but a shapefile is only when you save it in a specific folder, that's where it's going to be. It's not going to relate to another one, but it is only where you save it, that's where it's going to be. That's one of the reasons why the shapefile is different from the picture. Why a shapefile cannot be saved into a database and a pictures cannot be saved into a folder only. Then now you can go ahead and be creating more and more. Let me now go here now. Then I can create a feature. Let me create a feature class. If I click feature class now, let me just put just like what I name. You can also click. Let me just leave the features there. And the way it is, them next. Finish your place. I'm done. See, now. Then if I go house and go back, then let me imagine this. I'm going to drag this, my shapefile into my forsake lesson database is going to you see it can't bring out a circle and now run it and cross it, which shows that it cannot be moved inside a database, which means that it cannot be moved into a database. It won't go. There's no way how. Then also you can't also copy. Only one thing you can do is either you export it. You see, by the time you export, once you export now, you see what's going to bring out. You see, to a shapefile, which means by the time I click to a shapefile now, it is going to ask me to save. It's going to save outside the database. It's going to save outside the database. You see now, it's in the input features. Then in the output location, let me just click on output location and see. You see, then if I click on the, let me press whatever. Let me say. Let me just press yes. it won't work. Let me go back and press the up one level. Let me see now. If I select this one, okay, then if I selected it now, then whatever you see, can you see I selected checker square. You see they put .gdb. Then let me now name it now output feature. Let me choose testing. Now press okay. It's loading. It's loading. You see, it brought out the feature class, to feature class. You see, it didn't. If you remember what I selected to be saved into a shapefile. Then automatically it's not saved into a shapefile. Can you see? Can you see? If you know the icon difference between a shapefile icon and the shapefile icon and the picture, you will know the difference. You see, if I click on this now, you see, you will still be bringing how to save to a shapefile, which means that you can save a shapefile into a geodatabase. Also, you can't save a picture into a folder unless it is only saved into a geodatabase. That's the difference. Then you can see now the only way I can do this now, man, if I say okay, export now to shapefile to shapefile, then to shapefile, then I will select the location. Let me choose let me go back a little bit. Then let me just sorry, this, you don't forget the name. I'm just I've selected it, then I'll just name it testing. Also back testing, then I press okay. You see, you're only going to see the difference now. You see, then let me now go back and go back. Okay, for the sake, you see, testing. You see the difference. It's showing something like greenish. Testing comparing to the previous one that I did. That's the difference between the shapefile. Then also let me now. It's just the same thing. You can particularize it. You will see the difference. I made myself upload the shapefile from QGIS.